After finally pushing my long runs to distances they've never been before and locking in what fueling actually works for me, it's time to finally find out if I'm fit enough to chase that 3:30 marathon dream. And there's no better test than the Austin International Half Marathon and finally seeing how well my training has prepared me. It's time for the B race. But what exactly is a B race? Well, the main marathon you're training for would be considered the A race. Now that, for me, would be my Austin Marathon. But a B race is practically more of a dress rehearsal for the real thing. This is where I'll be putting my fueling, my pacing, and all of my training to the test to see if I can even run my A race. Now, the reason why I chose this race is for 3 reasons. Number 1 is that they are both in the same city and the courses kind of overlap a bit, so I will definitely get a feel for that Austin elevation. Number 2 is that both of them have humongous crowds, really just stimulating that race simulation and to get that adrenaline going. And for the final reason for why I chose this race is that it is 4 weeks away from the Austin A race, so I will definitely have enough time to really just recover and finish up my training block and be ready for Austin. But now I think it's time to answer the age-old question of, has 11 weeks of marathon training really prepared me enough to run a full marathon? Alright, I got my gels. I got some hydration. I'll probably drink some of this before the race, but nothing much because, you know, I can't have like this whole thing before the race. It'll be bad. And then to eat before the race, I'm gonna have like a Nutella sandwich. Alright, so I know that this race is absolutely freezing outside, so that's why I have all this like winter stuff. I really wish it was warm, but can't do anything about it. I woke up with slight pain on my ankle, so I gotta be extra careful about that. As for like nutrition, gels, I'll have the gels like every like 4 to 5 miles, like maybe about 5 and mile 10. I usually never run with gels, so like in a race, so this will be good practice for the marathon. All right, I think we're ready, let's go.
If you need help finding your way to that finish line, line up with the pace group.
All right, good morning, Austin.
Here we go,
Go, shit, Breezy. All right, let's do it.
All right, so the gun has finally shot ahead and we are off into the depths of this race. And I'm gonna just give y'all some commentary as we go through this race. Now, from what I could remember, I was super hyped at the start. You know, the vibes were high, the music, the energy, the people, it was crazy. And I really just wanted to go out fast. But almost immediately, I could just tell my legs were so tight from the cold. So instead of just like pushing it forward, I actually had to slow down a bit. I think I went out at like around 7:40 pace, but I immediately just slowed that down to like an 8:15 pace. Now the goal for today in this race is a sub 1:45:30, because if I can do this, that means generally that's the pace I'm gonna have to hold for the full. It gives me a really good idea of where I am physically after I finish this race. Alright, so we finally crossed the 2-mile marker with a time of 7:53. We are off to a really great start, but I definitely slowed it down from that first mile as we went out very hot. Because my Achilles was already hurting a lot. Like I could feel like a really big niggle down there, and also like really just, I don't know, something up with my ankle at the time, and it was just not going great. So I knew this was gonna be a very rough race. Like, I don't know, like the whole time, if you're really just hearing, I'm just crashing and just pounding into that ground, and I could just feel like I'm just grinding on it rather than just bouncing like a rabbit. Like I was just like All right, so right around here, we are coming up on the highway ramp, and this is where the 145 pace group caught up to me, and I remember just thinking, oh my goodness, how slow am I going for them to catch up to me? So I was a bit also like a bit stressed out of like, oh my God, can I do this? Can I even keep up with them? But I decided to just use them to the most of my abilities and just stay with them, as I knew if I could stick with them, we are at least gonna get that 145 time. Because this race is all about training and just practicing that pace for the full, so it's really good that I get in that just even pacing like I should. Alright, so finally around miles 5 and 6, I actually settled into a pretty decent groove. Now, as for my legs, they really weren't happy. My thighs were already starting to, I think, cramped up. Like I took one sip of water earlier on, but here is where I take my first gel. And I'm just realizing throughout this race that gels are so hard to take when you're tired. So at least that's something I can work on. Mile 7 was definitely, I think, one of the most roughest miles I've had. Like, energy was just super low until that crowd passed by and they were just with the 6-7 signs, and bro, that was just super motivating to really just push past like that mental barrier, because I was failing, I think, in that stage, just like my legs are tired, I can't keep up. Now, deep into mile 7, there was this one sign that really just caught my eye saying, remember your why. And honestly, that kind of just resonated with me so much, of just like how much I trained for this, all the time and effort I put into this. Just seeing that sign really just, I think, was one of the best things I could have during that race. That just pushed me to the limit. So good thing I saw that sign earlier on, because miles 8 and 9 were all about just hills.
Oh my God, this hill's monstrous.
And coming up on mile 9 was a super massive hill. I think it was like the first major hill we hit before the hilly section. And oh my goodness, was that elevation just absolutely insane. And it only gets crazier once we hit up the UT section later on. Now, luckily at the top, of course, we met the mascot himself.
Let's go!
Slapped his hand, kept on moving. Boom, we good to go.
On me!
Now, when there's uphill, there is downhill, and deep into mile 11, we had a massive downhill, and I knew that right here was a time where I have to push it more, but my thighs were just cracking. Like, they were just cramping, I think. Not even cramping, just in pain. That downhill was crazy.
Oh my God, that's so monstrous. Let's go. Let's go.
All right, 1 mile left. Time to push this, stay consistent, and finish it strong.
Moto hayaku.
William Buckholz, and we're gonna mark Finales.
Bang, bang, bang. When we crossed the half marathon point in 1:43:50, absolutely demolished that goal time. We averaged 7:51 pace, which is crazy. That is 1:27 marathon pace. So if I can do that for a full, that would be insane. But this definitely sheds some light into how hard this will be. but I think we got it. But the real question isn't whether I could do this half marathon. My real test was, how would my legs hold up after this? Okay, you know what? I honestly thought that would go 10 times worse than I expected, and I can actually run. So we're gonna see. I'm gonna try out maybe 1 or 2 miles. If that's good to go, then I'll do my regular 4-mile recovery run that I had planned. If not, we'll just get back to biking, but our legs still work. All right, so right now we are pretty much going as slow as possible. Like, we're going sloth pace. Like, I'm talking like 13, 14 minutes per mile. Like, this is me walking. Like, there's just no difference. But in reality, it doesn't really matter because it's the day after the race, so anything goes in terms of running. And I'm really just trying to like keep my legs moving, but also just not get injured, because I'm not gonna knock out like a 5-mile 9:30 pace run just because it's a recovery run. So we got to be extra careful with the legs, and if they feel good, then that's amazing. All right, I'm now back from the run. We just did a nice little 5K recovery run. Super easy, super slow, super recovery. And I walked in between a few times, maybe 4 or 5 times, just to like give, you know, my legs a break, because they're all like in super mad shock. So hopefully I didn't damage anything, because I'm hoping this like helps me, you know, recover quicker rather than slower. But I'm gonna go shower because I got some homework. All right, so now that the half marathon has completely wrapped up, we're fully recovered, it's been some time, it's finally time to really set our sights on Austin Marathon. So we gotta make sure we finish up this training block as strong as possible, with as much training, as much volume, as much as I can do, as much of the long runs, everything. We gotta put it into these last 4 weeks, finish off super strong. So it's definitely gonna be a super hard effort, but I think we'll do it. So I'm gonna see y'all in the next one. This is Road to Marathons, and I'll see y'all on a long run or on a workout, or maybe Austin, who knows?